All right. Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to Coach's Corner. This is going to be an extremely powerful topic and powerful chapter. And if you notice, we have two coaches today. Shout out to Paul and Lou. You're here, in spirit. Maybe Paul will jump on a little later. But if you missed previous episodes, make sure you go back and look at all the amazing episodes where we share some very powerful topics that are very impactful and transformational, in your life, in your business. So today I'm excited to share, this material as well. So if you don't know, my name is Jamel Matias. I'm a certified mindset success coach. And, I'm based in the Maryland area. And my purpose is to reveal the hidden potential already within you and guide you to your truest desires. So I work with individuals, entrepreneurs, and businesses as well, and other coaches as well to help you basically get to whatever goal that you want. If it's $10,000 a month, whatever, right? So I'm going to pass it to my colleague that's here. We're going to share this amazing chapter. So, Alicia.
Hello, thank you, my friend. Yes, my name is Alicia Espinosa. I am also a certified values and mindset coach, and my purpose is to help people to find happiness from the inside or joy from the inside out, and to follow their values and so that they can create a life that feels good on the inside, not just looks good from the outside. And I also help leaders to be a leader worth following. So welcome to this live, and greetings from Sweden.
From Sweden. So we have a international or global session here as always. And what's special about this, make sure, you reach out to either one of us. If something really speaks to you and you see this material or what we share really helpful, our links are in the description for to set up a call and see if this is helpful for you. But always feel free to comment and engage as well, because this material is the best in the world, and it really teaches you things that have been here forever, right? And what better topic than expecting abundance? Wow, expecting abundance. And we're going to dive right in. Right now, what speaks to me is right at the opening of this chapter. And if you don't know, we are covering every chapter in a book called You Were Born Rich by Bob Proctor. And there it is. Look at that right there. And if you haven't heard of this book, make sure you get it. There's tons of videos about it. And it was also a seminar, and it's changed millions of lives and impacted many businesses. And what we're talking about today is expect an abundance. Who is expecting an abundance today? Right? Who is expecting an abundance today? I know I am. So this should be a good wake-up call for you and a reminder of the power of your thoughts. So right at the top of the chapter is this huge expect an abundance in bold letters. And it says, the mind is a powerful magnet. I had to underline that. And as such, it attracts whatever corresponds to its ruling state. Expectation dictates what that ruling state will be, and therefore governs what corresponds to the mind and is attracted into your life. Expectation can be either a blessing or a curse, but either way, it is certainly one of the most powerful unseen forces in your life. That's just the first paragraph. And I was like, wow, there's so much there in that first paragraph. Elisa, you like to share a bit on that?
Yeah, this is like, we're going to talk a lot about that, but about this expectation, because I believe that this an emotional state of knowing something that is good is coming, you know. if you have expectation from that is aligned with what you want, your desires, but you have also, because it says that it can be something good, but it can be also something bad, because if you expect, you are expecting that you have a desire, and consciously you say, yeah, I know I'm going to reach this desire, and so, but subconsciously you don't believe that. So the expectations subconsciously don't doesn't match the expectation that you have intellectual, and then it creates um, a frustration, I believe. At least it was for me many years that, I say, yeah, I can this, I do this, but at the same time my expectation in the subconscious was that, oh, but this is difficult, how I'm going to do, I was so um in a jail, that I was more thinking how I'm going to come to do this. I have never done this before, all this. So the expectation subconsciously was negative and not aligned with what I really wanted. Even if in the conscious mind I really believe it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's so good because you mentioned a word that really spoke to me there. And I'm also thinking, being that is, hi, Lou. Lou is watching. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hi, Lou. Awesome. And, you mentioned a key word there, frustration,
Hmm.
you know, and that really stood out to me because a lot of people have desires. They want more. They want to experience more, be more, do more, have more, but they're kind of forgetting this expectation part about it, right? And it was awakening for me, a great reminder, the power of that. And speaking of power, it says the mind is a powerful magnet. So it doesn't really matter what you're focusing on. You're still, well, it does matter, but you're going to attract positive or negative things into your life if you're not aware of your thoughts. And your thoughts are essential. It attracts whatever is in the ruling state. So expectation basically brings that thing that you want to you. So it's coming to you as you're going towards it. And it always starts with desire as well. And this is why it's important to get clarity in your mind on what you really want. What do you desire? Like what's the first goal that you decide? Without clarity, you're lost, or you're allowing everything outside of you dictate what's happening in here. And I just love that. It says it is certainly one of the most powerful unseen forces in your life. I double underline most powerful because a lot of people, well, not everyone, really understands the power of their thoughts or the power of being in the present and awareness of your thoughts. So imagine you utilizing this beautiful, powerful gift for good, for what you want in your life,
Mm.
how you can shape it rather than shaping what you don't want. And when you don't understand this, it creates frustration, right?
Yeah.
Because you wish and you hope for things and they just never happen, right? Or they
Mm.
take many years to happen. It's because you don't understand this to a high degree and that creates frustration. But that's okay. It's not uncommon, for people not to understand this at this type of level. Alicia, did you want to add on to that? I know I kind of.
Yeah, I can, when you say clarity, it's so important to get really, really clear what you really want. And it's why, for example, when I start working with a client, they never set a goal before they get some clarity about their values, because the desire that they set should be aligned with the values, because then you can have an expectation and say, okay, this is aligned with my values, and the expectation to take action, the expectation that it will take time. We are going to talk about later about that. But then you know exactly what is what you want. And it's not like just thinking like, oh, I want this, and then the next day, oh no, I don't want this, or maybe I want this, so the clarity is very important. So it came to me, I wrote here is that, for example, if you are planting something in the gardening, you know you decide what you want. You decide if you want to get an apple, then you plant apple, and the expectation is that when it grow up, it will be apple. Your expectation cannot be that you are going to be peach or orange. So you need to prepare the soil, and it's like I I compare our mind with the soil. Prepare the soil so that when you plant whatever you want, then it will grow and you get what you want. The apple or the orange or the peach or what you want. So it's the same with our mind. It's like, what are you expecting? Then you need to be clear what you want to plant in your soil, in your mind, and then nurture that to get what you want.
Yeah, I always love using that that comparison, right? I don't know if you have a prop of a soil pot over there that you can.
No, I have all my prop downstairs, so but,
But
but it was I was thinking about that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the point is that always stood out to me that Bob shared is order of the mind, right?
Yeah.
Order of the mind is heaven's first law. And getting order in your mind is like having I'm working at the desk here, actually the dining room table, but it's pretty orderly, right? So you clear your desk, clear that room, you clean the room and straighten out the papers or the books, and you feel different in that space. And that's order on your desk. You clean the inside of your car, you vacuum it, you shampoo the carpets, you wipe the dashboard, all the dust off, and you do the seats. Maybe you have leather seats and you condition it and clean it, and you feel different when you're sitting in that car. Even if you wash the outside of the car, it feels like it runs better and it feels better. So that's the same concept as your mind. You have to have clarity and order in there and know where you're going and what you desire. And having clarity on what you want is basically knowing your destination, knowing what you're creating, right? So if you don't know that and you're trying to go for so many different things, you're kind of doing yourself a disservice and you're out of harmony of your full potential. So speaking of potential, I'm going to share my screen here. It changed a few of the icons of this one little part here. There we go. If you look right here, it says expectation can be the triggering mechanism which attracts into your life, right? Every good you desire. However, if you do not exercise extreme caution, expectation can also turn just as rapidly into a destructive, lethal enemy. Therefore, you must be cognizant of how you are exercising this invisible but powerful force. That is huge right there. And that's kind of what we're talking about. It's a double-edged sword, right? And, it's mentioned here, I believe you already understand, you can have wealth in your material world, right? You can have wealth in your material world until you have it first visualize the wealth in your mind.
Yeah. And I wrote here in my, I put here, like, everything is created twice. One in your mind first, and then when you take action, it will be creating the physical world. But you need to create here. So your beliefs, I came to remember the lesson that we did about the integration of beliefs and behavior, because you don't get what you want, you get what you believe that you can't get. And if your beliefs are not backed with the expectation, you will not get what you believe you want. So we need to be very, very, like, the beliefs that we have about the thing that we want, the desire. And it should be a burning desire, because you can have desire, but it's like, oh yeah, well, I would like to do that. But it's when it's this burning desire that you say, okay, I don't know how I'm going to reach that, but I know, my belief is that I will reach that, and I expect to do that. Is so important. Otherwise, no.
Well said. You shared that very, very well. Because expectation is belief, right? You believe something, you expect. It works
Yeah.
together, right? And it says, but what does this really mean? It means that before any of us can even begin to overcome the poverty which surrounds us in our external world, right? Maybe you don't have the income that you want or the items that you want, right? We must first conquer the impoverishment that is buried deep within ourselves.
Mm.
So in your mind, this is so good, because a lot of people, we've been conditioned to live like this from the outside in. We'll look at our results, we'll look at our account, we'll look at whatever it is that you're doing in business, your professional goals, and even your personal life. You'll allow that to affect how you think and what you believe and expect. So there's impoverishment in your mindset. This is so good, because expecting an abundance is the opposite of that impoverishment that we've been focusing on for so long for a lot of people. Now, this should be an epiphany or a wake-up call joining us today, because you can shift it right now. Not after this live stream, not tomorrow. You can shift it right now in this very moment by shifting and focusing and getting clarity on the abundance that you're focused on, whatever amount that you want. For why do you want it, or what you want to spend the money on, or maybe a trip or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's what resonates most with you, your desire, right? And desire is that seed that you're planting in the infinite intelligence, right? In the subconscious mind, the garden that Alicia shared there. So remember, it doesn't matter the past or what you've been focusing on for so long. You have the ability to choose the thoughts of that abundance and get clarity on that desire. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking something that came to mind also about expectation is that sometimes, so we can have this expectation of to reach the desire. Yeah, very good. And you should have that. What is sometimes difficult for many is that they expect that it will come without even taking action. And I believe that you when you have this expectation to reach your desire, what will happen when you truly believe that is that ideas will come uh, that are aligned to that. Will all the ideas perfect and take you to that desire? No, because the same is when you plant some seeds. Some of these seeds will die and some others will grow. And it's the same here, to have that expectation that what you are doing will get you there if you have the persistence to continue to do the things, that the ideas, the asking for help, or taking action all the time, that will come there. But sometimes fear come to us, and they knock in the door, and then we start to be insecure, and we sometimes believe that people can do things, and for some reasons we don't believe we can, or that we are not worthy that. So this with the expectation is that, yeah, I don't know, follow your desire and expect to reach that. Not today, not tomorrow, but you know that you will come there.
Yeah. Expect an abundance, right? Don't expect the same lower frequency results, right? And Alicia, you shared something really powerful there. Some people try to do this by themselves, right? And there's nothing like powerful environments and people that are driven to grow in life and improve their results. When you're working close with people, mentorship, for instance, like one of us and our colleagues as well, is you're in a different energy. You're in a different environment, and you become, basically, it pulls you out of wherever you are, even on a subconscious level, on a spiritual level. And it gets you out of that negative mindset, that negative focus of only seeing what's there and having that perpetual cycle of creating what you don't want. And you shared something really good there, because not only the environment, but it also helps you create the thoughts that work for you rather than against you. So speaking of stories, there's a beautiful story in this chapter called The Light Bulb Tale. And just to kind of paraphrase it, there was a couple that lived without electricity, like in the backwoods, in the village. And basically they saw electricity for the first time, and they had a small 8-candle electric bulb, and they were mesmerized by seeing this electricity. They've been used to using, I think, fire or whatever for light, but they never saw electricity harnessed like that in a bulb. So they were blown away, right? And they were like, this is amazing. And what's interesting, a few months go by, there was a salesman that came by, and he said, those little bulbs, these were 8-candle power bulbs. I believe those are watts. Basically said, these are old. We have these new bulbs that are 60-candle power bulbs, and they just come on the market. So basically, he plugs in one of these new powered bulbs, and it illuminated the whole room. Like more than, I don't know, 60 times the light than the old 8 what do you call them, candle power electric. So what I'm getting at here is the energy that was supplying that small bulb and the larger bulb was coming from the same source. Mm-hmm. It's an infinite source of supply. So it says here, and of course, when they saw one bulb light up the whole room, the whole house probably, it was a new flood of illumination, and it's been there the whole time, right? It's been there the whole time. So it says here, it's strange. We smile. Okay. Most of us are even less aware of our own power, okay, than this couple was of the power of the electric current. For like the couple in the story, we never even dreamed that the infinite current which surrounds us could flood our lives with a light more magnificent than the most powerful light bulb ever devised.
Mm.
We never grasp the simple truth that all we need to do to improve our results is to plug a larger, more prosperous idea into the infinite current of life. Wow.
Yeah. You know, when I read this story, it reminded me at the beginning of my career. I have a master degree in material science, and I was working in a company working with the product and process development. So I was working a lot with this. And then I got the possibility to go to another country. And sometimes here, when the machines are not, are, they want to upgrade the machines, the old machine sends to other countries for the same company. So I was to another country, and they got one machine from here, from where I was. And when I come there, and this machine was for to to get coils of stainless steel wire to get in place, and then it's much easier to then to send to the customer. And they got the machine, and I came to that place, and I was like, they were using the machine, but in a totally wrong way. Every time they needed to work with the coil of the wire, they're like, come here, help me. And then it was 2 or 3 persons helping there together. And then I say, yeah, but why you don't use the machine as it is? And they say, what? Yeah, you need to do this and this and this. And they didn't knew. And they needed before 3 persons to do the thing, but now it was only one person that pushed a button, and then everything was okay. And this is the thing, that sometimes we think that we know everything and we don't need help. But to get some help, to see this power within us, I needed to see to get some help at the beginning. I have still coaches that help me to see my blind spots, both the goods and the bads. But is that to taking help from others, it doesn't need to be a coach. It can be a good friend that is tough, a family member, or but especially a coach that is not, the 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 only thing that a coach wants is to get you succeed, to see you succeed. But I was thinking about this. You say that to see our own power, because he said many people don't see their own power, and it's why we need some help.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. Thanks for sharing that story. And that machine, so-called machine, is this mechanism or this concept that we're talking about, right? If you're not using it correctly, you're working harder but not smarter, right? So, it even shares here the infinite current of life, right? So, and it said, all we need to do is to improve it. Our results is to plug a larger, more prosperous idea. We think small. So most people think smaller than what they really want. You have to expect an abundance. Let that abundance flow. And abundance is our birthright. But the conditioning, our environment and other people, and we allowed so many things to kind of affect how we even think and what we can imagine for ourselves. But let today kind of be a day to say, hey, I'm going for it. This is meant for me. This is what I always wanted. I don't care what anyone else thinks. I don't care what happened in the past. This is for me, right? And open up that imagination and spirit. So it says, instead, most of us strangle our supply with energy impoverished thoughts. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Energy impoverished thoughts of doubt and fear, right?
Mm.
Which entirely cut off the inflow of prosperity. So if you're having doubt and fear, that's coming from, I know the law of polarity, there's left, right, up, down, hot, cold, inside, outside. That's a negative pole if you have doubt and fear. And what that is basically ignorance. It's lack of knowing. You're right,
Mm.
not knowing. And it also it's an ignorant mindset, but also a lack mindset. So
Mm.
if you're thinking negatively, you'll be on that negative plane of doubt and worry and fear, and your thoughts will be based in that, which is not productive. It's not creative. It's actually destructive. So it's destructive thinking. And he goes on to say here, I want to exhort you, therefore, to resolve to change your habitual pattern of thinking now. That's right, change it now. And remember, the stream of plenty always flows towards the open, expectant mind. Oh, this is
Yeah.
so good. So you must understand you already have in substance, if not in physical form, right? So what is substance? Like Alicia shared, everything's created twice, right? Once in the unseen and then in the seen. So that substance permeates, penetrates, whatever, Wallace Wallace talks about that. So basically that substance is spirit and thought power, thought energy, right? So everything necessary to produce the prosperity in your material world. So the two determining factors for you to attain the results you want are first a desire. What is
Mm.
that desire? And number two, expectation. So
Yeah.
those are two huge things to just really focus on, right?
Yeah, I came when you talk about fear, because fear is also expectation, but for the wrong kind. So fear is expecting something bad will happen. And then you have the faith that, yeah, that wrong thing will happen, you know? So it's in the faith in the negative way. And what happens is that fear blocks abundance, and as much as you say about doubts, they also fear and doubt blocks abundance. So it's why it's better to shift the fear to faith. And we talk about, I don't know if you have your stick person. I know
Yeah.
that we have mine here, the little one. But it's like, what happens is that fear is in the conscious. You start to fear in the conscious mind. And what happens is that we have these mental faculties, and the imagination will take what you decide. If you are more in the fear, the imagination will take what you decide that this is the fear, and then start to do big things, start to create even more fear, because it's how you are creating with your imagination. You are creating something totally wrong. But if you have faith, so it also, the imagination creates something, but it's more alignment with your desire. So when are using your imagination, you need to use it well, because fear is something that you create in the future, and you don't have any evidence that that will be as you create that. Faith is also something that you create in the future, and you don't have any evidence, but the vibration that you get in is totally different from creating a fear than creating faith. So when you are creating something that you don't know anything about in the future, why not create faith?
Why not?
Yeah,
Right?
why not?
Right, right. I say this so many times, but I can't say it enough, right?
Mm,
Because faith and fear both demand for you to believe in something you can't see,
yeah, yeah.
right? And thanks, Lou. Yes, abundance is our birthright. Every person, not just coaches, every walking person, abundance is our birthright.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of people focus on fear. It's fear-based thinking. And why? Why do they do that? It's conditioned. It's conditioning, right? You're used to having that way of thinking, but you
Yeah.
can change it. You can change it and change it, right? You're taking all this energy. Energy flows to and through us, right? We have our stick person. Energy just is. It's just flowing right into your consciousness. And we're the ones that choose what to do with it.
Yeah.
We label this good, bad, or or focus this energy on what we're expecting and our desire and what we're creating or what we don't want, right? So we have the ability to accept or reject any thoughts in the conscious mind. So energy just is, and it's always flowing to us. And not being aware of this, you're kind of you're in the dark creating in a negative way what you don't want. I wanted to share my screen again because this is so good. Um, just to cover some points here, powerful points, if I can find it, that was really, really good, where they talked about right after expectation. Where are we? Here we go. Awesome. So make sure, take some notes because this is so good. Right here, it says, up to this point, you might have been living the way the masses live their entire lives, simply because you are harboring the false assumption that desire is the only thing which you need to reach your goal. But you must understand, if your desire is not combined with the expectation that you will receive what you desire, you will find yourself continually frustrated and disappointed whenever you begin working toward any kind of material goal,
Mhm.
right? That's huge. So when you cast your mind back over the experiences of your life, you will soon realize that whenever you did reach a desired goal, you not only desired that goal, but you actually expected to attain it as well. This is so big because I was thinking about a lot of different things, that I accomplished in my life and desired goals, and I expected it. And think about your life. All the things you accomplished, you expected it. It works. It works, right? So he says, let me repeat, desire without expectation is nothing more than wishful thinking. And as we have already pointed out, since the vast majority of people wish positive but expect negative, they seldom attain what they're after. Wow. Huge.
Yeah, I think that if you don't expect that you are going to, so you need to expect good for yourself, because if you are not expecting that, you are not going to take the action that you need to take, and you will say, ah, yeah, but it doesn't matter. I know that I will not uh, reach that goal, that desire. And maybe you don't think about the intellectual, but if you are keeping procrastinating, then maybe you are not believing that you can reach your desire. Maybe the expectation is not there, because then you find everything else more important than doing what you know you need to do to create what you desire. So and here is that, as I told before, that many believe that other can do that, but for some reason don't believe they can do that. And it's more of the worthy, feeling worthy of that, the results. Yeah, I think that is very important. So so you need to act as if you already have achieved that. Have that is expectation, because the expectation will influence your posture and your tone of voice. You know, I was talking with a friend of mine where uh, she's creating her own business, and then she said, "Yeah, but I will never be able to live from this." Okay, if this that expectation you have, be sure you will get that. Because if you don't believe that you can achieve you can live from your business, and so then yeah, you will not create that, because the expectation will uh, influence the actions you take. So and also the emotional state, and you will start procrastinating. And have you done that? No, I want. I'm going to do that later. Later, tomorrow, mañana. But if we look at I normally say, if we look at the agenda, there is no tomorrow. There is the days, and then decide that I'm going for that. I'm not pushing away that. So you need to walk the talk. I put here a plan of its abundance is coming, and you are aligned with that.
Yeah, I like
You
that.
just not want that more, you expect it.
I love that. I love that. Um, wow. You know what? I'm gonna shift it a little bit. Abundance is here, right? And everything happens in the present. And to connect with what Alicia shared, when you look at somebody else and their success, maybe you're a little jealous. Let that go, right? Or envy, let that go, right? You want to mind your own business. And what do I mean by that? Focus on yourself. There's two ways of creation. There's competitive and creative, right? And you want to always focus on creative, because you're creating the version of you that you want, that you desire, rather than saying, oh, they can do it, but I can't. And when you say stuff like that, you're creating. And whatever you say, you're right. If you believe yourself that you can't do it, you won't. If you believe that you can, you will. You are the center of divine operation. So whatever you speak into existence, words have tremendous power. And they also show us what you hold inside, your internal self. It'll your words express what your inner speech is. So be very mindful of what you say, but you can create anything that you want. And you have to believe that. Once you have that belief, you start tapping into what we're really, this abundance that we're talking about. And speaking of abundance, Wallace D. Wattles says here, desire is the effort of the unexpressed possibility within, seeking expression without, through your action. That is such a beautiful statement. The desire is basically, it's something, it's unexpressed, right? It's a possibility for you, an opportunity for you to connect with that frequency, right? Your desire. This is why it's important to get clarity on what you really want. You want $10,000 months, $50,000 months, whatever it is that you want to create, that lifestyle, that profession, right? That unexpressed possibility within, it's waiting for you to discover it and expect it, right? So it's seeking expression without, through your action. So it's seeking expression through you, right? Through your action. So this is kind of what Alicia was talking about. Instead of if I do all these things, I can have this and then I can be that. That's the way most people think. You become, you be, you do. There's the action. I'm doing. I'm already become. I'm doing. And then I have that. My outside will reflect my inside world. And that's just something to really understand and apply it, to your life.
Yeah. Lou says, without expectation, what will be the point? Yeah. What will the point if you don't have expectation that you, and I want to say something here is that it's not just about money, it's about abundance, about health, abundance in relationship, abundance in time, abundance. It is not only abundance in money, because sometimes people say, yeah, but money is very good to have, and is creates so much opportunity. But sometimes people have the money, but they don't have the abundance in health or abundance in relationship. And I believe that everything that we have is on the other side of the fence that we self create. Sometimes the fence is fear of something. I was talking about a man that he divorced and wanted to have a new relationship, but it was like 5 years since his divorce. And I said, but there's abundance of love everywhere. But what is the fence that you have created? And then the fence was the fear of being betrayed again. So then he was not expecting, he intellectual, he was expecting to meet a new woman and have a beautiful family. But in the subconscious, no, the expectation was not there, because the fear was blocking that expectation. The fear of that, if I have a new relationship, it will be the same again. The person will betray me, and it will be difficult for me. All this thing that he created, that is so. Sometimes we work with a hammer, and
Yeah. We are the only problem and the only solution, right?
yeah.
So if we have contradictory thoughts, we'll have contradictory results.
Yeah.
Right? As within, so without. And it says, once your desire has been firmly established, this is why it's important to keep your desire clear, right? What is it that you want? It says, it is the expectant attitude which ensures that your goal or dream is not uprooted or replaced by any opposing or competing ideas. That's exactly what Alicia is sharing here in that story. How many times have we had a desire, we want something or we desire something, and then all of a sudden it's taking too long or it's never happened? It's because the expectant attitude, it was uprooted, right? And it's replaced by some opposing or competing idea. So it's very clear to expect what you desire every day, and always have that action. And it's not just let me hurry up and do everything I can in one day. You're going in a calm, confident manner with faith, and it's called inspired action because it comes from within. Right. So this is a different way of operating and a different way of momentum and tapping in with spirit. I can think of so many things that I desired, and I didn't realize that I didn't have an expectancy of achieving it. I didn't expect. I wished and hoped, but I uprooted my own desire by not expecting it. Now, on the flip side, I can see things, just look in your past, right? Things that you achieved, some goals that you accomplished. You expected to do well and achieve that thing, and you did because you expected the outcome. It's so
Mhm.
amazing how we can create either way, right? Whether you're conscious of it or you're not, right? You don't know that you're doing this, but when you do know, this is that focus, that power in that present moment, being aware of what you're creating. I think it's so amazing that we're covering this.
Yeah, it's something that came when you say that you have desires and you didn't have the expectation. It's more some like having a dream, like, oh, I have a dream to get this or to do this. But I normally say, yeah, but a dream is good, but in order for the dream to be a reality, you need to wake up, and then you need to clarify what is that dream, and then become a desire, and then become a goal. And also you say that it's not when thinking like you will get that like that. And he talked about the law of gender, and the law of gender says to state that things have a gestation or incubation period. So everything, whatever you physical or mental, requires time to grow, and before it manifests into form. And is, for example, a baby is 9 months. And sometimes for me was something that I needed to work a lot, because when I had a desire and I started to do something, my expectation was that it should be like that, you know. And when I didn't see the results, I let it go because I didn't know about the law of the gender, the gestation time. It takes time. It takes time to do things. But if you expect that, I know that it takes time because of the law of gender, and I believe that I can achieve that. The persistence and consistency of doing the things will get you there.
Mm. And what word really stood out to me, that's so good, Alicia, is the word there. All
Mhm.
right. What is there to you? All
Yeah.
right. What is there? And speaking of, the law of gender, it says here, your desire is the motor power which will move you in the direction of your dream, and expectation is the attractive force that will move your dream in your direction. So the desire, you're moving towards it. This is so good. You have to have a desire. Everybody wants something, desire something. And if you don't get clarity on that, right? What's really speaking to you? Reach out to us. We definitely want to help you with that. And the expectation, you're attracting what you desire, right? So it says, so see yourself moving toward the wealth you visualize, or whatever it is you desire, and see the wealth you visualize being attracted to you, right? So know that you will come in contact with the wealth that is moving to you, and at the right time. Here we go. No one knows what period of time must elapse. So don't become impatient. All right. Let me underline that. So don't become impatient if it doesn't materialize overnight. This is what Alicia is talking about.
Mhm.
All we know for sure is a certain period of time must elapse, and the period of time which your image must take to materialize is governed by the law of gender. Now, the law of gender decrees there is a gestation or incubation period for the manifestation of all seeds. And make no mistake about it, the image of wealth you choose to build on the screen of your conscious mind and then turned over to your subconscious mind is a seed. And it is growing into physical form in the most fertile field of which you could ever conceive. So be patient. You know, the gestation period is different for everyone. And it really depends on your consistency and your expectancy, right? So what that is the intensity of it as well, right? The clarity on your desire, what you want, your action, you're moving towards it, and it's coming towards you. This is so good. And you're fertilizing it, right? With your emotion, with your
Mm.
thoughts. You're getting
Yeah.
emotionally involved with it. And you're growing that seed, in the infinite storehouse of your subconscious.
Yeah.
So good.
I came with, when you say that we talk about the planting seeds, and I am doing a gardening training, and we are learned to plant um, tomato and uh, different things. So I planted and I was like, watering that, and I go, and some of them they grow and the other die. And then when they were like this size, I decided to take that to outside, because it was time to take them outside to so they can grow bigger. And what happened is that the deer, is it that the
Yeah,
deer,
dear. Hmm.
they came and they ate them. And you know what, this is what happened with when we are go after our desires, and that sometimes things will happen. So you need to plant again and to continue to, but not give up. Just continue to know. If you want to get tomato or something like that, you need to, okay, I can plant it again, and I will get feedback and know that, okay, if I'm going to plant this again, I will not put outside in the garden, because the deer will come and eat that. So now I need to yeah, so protect that. But if I'm going to close that, if you have self-worth at a value, then the expectations will grow when you believe you are worthy. So if your core values including dignity and self-respect and grow, the expectation is a way to live those values. And also the same with trust. Expectation abundance aligns with values like faith and spirituality and trust in the process. And um, I have a what is a quote that I say to myself all the time. Let's say, fall in love with your goals or desire, marry the process, divorce the outcome, and don't cheat with your fear. No, I have that for myself, and telling me I know that everything is working out for me, even if I cannot see at the moment.
I love that. I love that. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, that's powerful. Um, yeah, and I'll share one as well. For those that think that they're not worthy, you definitely are worthy of the success or money that you desire, right? Whatever it is that you desire, you're definitely worthy. And, I experienced that in my journey as well, feeling not worthy of the success. And guess what I did? I created an affirmation telling myself that. And I do that every day in the mirror. I am worthy of all the success and money that I desire. I am worthy and I am enough. And imagine you tell yourself that every day and you start impressing your subconscious mind and you're shifting your belief system.
Mm.
So your belief system is the foundation of everything, right?
Mm.
And you are an instrument through which spirit flows. So what do you do with this spirit that you've been blessed to experience, right? Do you act on it? Do you first get clarity in your subconscious, right? Get clarity in your conscious first, right? And then You really get emotionally involved with that, because whatever it is you want is waiting for you. And you attracted this live stream today, this particular video, whether you're here live or you attracted it, at a later time, it's still in your life for a reason. So don't miss that, because spirit is always speaking to you. So, and we're all part of the same abundance, right? So expect an abundance. So, this has been such a great session. And, don't let this just be information and great stories and just go in one ear and out the other. This is just a small part of your abundance and connecting to it. So make sure you reach out to either of us. It doesn't matter, whoever you prefer or whatever resonated with you. Our links are in the description to set up a call. We love to meet you and speak with you and help you tap into your desire and also into this abundance, and shift your thinking for expectancy rather than expecting things you don't want. Let's stop doing that. Life would be so much easier if you have clarity, right? and also expecting exactly what you want in life. Life would be so much easier. So let go of those limiting thoughts, all this conditioning that's been there for so long. I talk to so many people and you can see it. And when is it time for you to say, hey, I'm tired of living that way. I'm going this way, right? So this has been such a great chapter. And Alicia knows I have so many things underlined, but we did good, right?
Yeah. That's good. I love this. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Lou.
Thank you, Lou.
Thank you so much. And, once again, our fellow colleagues, Lou and Paul, they're here in spirit, as you can tell here live, cheering us on, but supporting as well. But, remember, all of this material is for you, right? This is for you to shift your life to the positive results that you want, right? So this has been great. And
I say, listen to that, repeat that, and take one or two insights and go and change whatever you want to change using those insights. Not to try to do everything at the same time, but take something that resonated with you and go on and use it to change your life.
great advice. Great advice. This is a positive step for you, right? Just taking that one step. And that's the great advice. Yeah, awesome. Well, we'll see you next Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern, right here in Coach's Corner. All right, everybody. Have a great and expect